Hey, Abigail.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. All the fun live logistics, right? But we're here. We got it.
Oh my gosh. You should have seen me. I'm tapping the screen like, did I accept her? Did I not? But anyway, oh my gosh, Mackenzie, I am so excited to have you joining me today.
Yes.
First of all, just you are absolutely fabulous. I have been following you since Chicago, since I met you
Yeah.
there. And I just wanted to take a moment to give you your flowers because you are absolutely incredible.
You're so sweet.
And I am so excited to just introduce my community to you. So if you want to just go ahead and give us a 30-second to 1 minute snapshot of who you are, what you do, and what you're passionate about, that would be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm Mackenzie. I am a registered dietitian. I actually wore my fun Barbie
Oh,
dietitian shirt today. You can't really see it with the
oh,
live getting
yes.
cut off.
Fabulous. Oh
I
my
know,
goodness.
right?
I love it.
And then I'm a recipe developer at Cheerful Choices. So I really focus on customizable ingredients. So in my recipe cards, you'll see ingredients of your choice. You can kind of use what you have on hand and fit different dietary preferences. And then I do a lot of work in the media to kind of get positive nutrition information out there on TV and online. So that's a little bit about me.
I love it. Well, I am just blown away by you, and I love your approach to creating recipes that the average person looks at and goes, yeah, I can do that. Because I don't know about you, but I find that nutrition can be so overwhelming, and there are so many different sources of information out
Mhm.
there. And I just wanted to ask you today three questions that I think that a lot of people might be curious about. So,
Sure.
the first one, is breakfast the most important meal of the day?
Yeah, I know. What a good one to start with. And something to note. So, breakfast literally means to break the fast, right? If you're breaking it up into those two words. And so the question is kind of to eat or to not eat.
Yep.
I know it's kind of something that has been driven in the media, especially I think over the past few years as there's been more interest in like intermittent fasting and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, as far as the research goes, there's actually positives to potentially both sides of things. So, I feel like growing up, it's always, talked about eat your breakfast. And there's definitely a large body of research supporting that. There was a 2021 review that kind of shows that those that ate breakfast 7 times a week had some reduced risks of things like heart disease, diabetes, some other kinds of conditions.
Mm-hmm.
And they also kind of sometimes show that those skipping breakfast can miss out on some nutrients, such as vitamin D and folate. But on the flip side, there's some research too, kind of showing that those that maybe practice skipping breakfast, maybe more in the context of intermittent fasting. If someone isn't familiar with that term, it basically means, there's different variations, but you're essentially only eating in a certain window, typically maybe 12 p.m. to 8 p.m.,
Right.
and then fasting or not eating the other period of time. So you're generally not eating breakfast. And then, there's some research showing that that can help kind of reduce overall calories in the day, which kind of makes sense too. So, when a client comes to me and they ask me this question, I really take a personalized approach because breakfast is individual. Some people look forward to it, some don't. In general, I like to say to try to get a little bit of something in the morning if you can. Just kind of a small balance of carbs, protein, and fat is usually going to set up your day for success. And I say that because for a lot of people, if you are skipping breakfast, you get later on into your day, you may get to the point of feeling really
Yep.
starving, headache, fatigue, not able to focus. And then you get to the point of eating where you're not going to be mindful. You're just fueling up
Yep.
because your body kind of literally thinks it's, starving a little bit. And so we can kind of overshoot that point of a comfortable fullness and overeat a little bit. So maybe by eating just a little bit of breakfast, a little bit of carbs, protein, fat, it can kind of help you out, but it's an individual sort of thing. So some like quick tips, I suppose. If somebody maybe just has coffee in the
Yeah.
morning, something that I like to do, and I have a recipe on my blog at Cheerful Choices for this, that's called Profi or protein coffee, where
Cool.
you essentially can kind of froth in or whisk in some protein powder with some warm milk. And then you can add over your coffee that way, whether you like it hot or iced, maybe having some, a pack of nuts or half a bar alongside of it. That's just a quick and easy recommendation where you're going to get some protein in with that coffee and a little kind of snack that can maybe hold you over a little bit more than just like black coffee would, with 0 calories and really not a lot of nutrients other than some caffeine boost.
Yes, you are talking to the coffee queen. I take my
Yeah.
coffee very seriously. And I think that when we get off this live, I need to get that coffee protein recipe so that I can start using it.
Yeah, I
I
love it.
love
I'll send
that.
it to you. Something
Please.
else on breakfast too, and I was going
Yes.
to get your thoughts on it, but I think it can be very personalized too if somebody does morning workouts. I know for
Mm,
me, I hit my early workout this morning, and I'm not necessarily hungry in the morning, but I know that for my workout, if I don't have just a little bit of something, maybe just a little like protein squeezable pouch or half a bar or something, I know that
totally.
in the workout, I'm going to be a little bit more fatigued, probably not have the best workout. So for me, having a little something before a workout works well. But some people like to do fasted workouts too. Do you ever, have a recommendation that you work with your clients on?
That is a wonderful question. I think that, as you said, it really depends on the individual. Some people actually feel nauseous if they eat something. Some feel
Mm-hmm.
nauseous if they don't eat something before their workout. I would have to say, though, that most of my clients seem to do well with just a little bit of something in their stomach. So I have recommended have a half a banana and have a slice of toast with maybe some peanut butter or just something to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you have some fuel in the tank. So,
Yeah,
as you said, I
love it.
think it's really based on the person, but having that little something can be really helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So get a little bit of breakfast in if you can.
Awesome. Well, I think that we officially slayed the breakfast question.
I love it.
And now we're going to move on to question number two, which I am dying to know what you think of this,
Yeah.
because the fitness industry is full. You cannot go anywhere without seeing something about a juice
Mm-hmm.
cleanse, whether it is a 7 day cleanse, no food, it promises you're going to magically lose inches off your waistline. I do feel like a lot of these are targeted towards women, which is interesting,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a topic for another day. For now, I want to know, Mackenzie, what is up with these juice cleanses? How do you feel about them?
Yes. Okay, so I'll be a little more straightforward here. I do
Okay.
not recommend them.
Oh,
Juice cleanses are typically kind of catered a little bit more, or marketed, I should say, in kind of a
yeah.
detox lens, kind
Yep.
of saying that they'll detox your body, reset you, quick weight loss. And there's really not a lot of long-term scientific backing for these things. In fact, our bodies, they have an amazing liver and kidneys that kind of naturally detox our body, rid it of things like toxins, metabolic waste, excess substances, and, excrete things in the urine. So really kind of ensuring that our system remains balanced and healthy. And so we already kind of have these systems at play.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that's not to say that juices are like the devil. They are still going to be nutritious, right? It's fruits and vegetables typically that are blended up. So, all those fruits and vegetables have amazing vitamins and minerals that can keep us healthy in a number of different ways.
Yeah.
But with that, a lot of times they're going to be straining out that pulp, which kind of means those more fibrous parts of, let's say, apples, celery, all those kinds of things that we would eat in a whole food form. Those are typically going to be strained out so that it's more of a thinner liquid.
Right.
And so when that happens, you're also removing the fiber of it. And fiber is something that can really help our digestive system. It helps kind of blunt our blood sugar response a little bit more. In fruits and vegetables, they don't really have a lot of protein and fat in them at all. They're pretty much just a little bit of carbohydrates, water, and those vitamins and minerals. So when you are having juices, you're not going to have fat, protein, or fiber typically. So your blood
Mm-hmm.
sugar is typically going to look something like this, where you're kind of drinking the juice. It's pretty much just kind of those carbohydrates that you're having. You're going to kind of spike that blood sugar, and typically followed by a pretty steep
Yeah.
drop. Whereas maybe if you're having that juice with, let's say, a leafy green salad with some grilled chicken, maybe a Thai peanut sauce, I have that recipe on my blog, that's going to have some protein and fat in it, which the response is going to look a little bit more narrow. You're going to feel, satiated longer, fuller longer. And so at the end of the day, no, I don't recommend just juice cleanses. But if you wanted to have juices in moderation, go for it, but have it alongside of meal. So that way you're going to have more of those benefits of carbs, protein, and fat altogether. Did that
Mackenzie, I
answer
think that is one of the best answers I have. MG,
Oh,
girl, you are
thank you.
preaching, and I love it. I just really appreciate too that you are bringing emphasis to the fact that doing a juice cleanse, it's not going to change your body composition or be a quick fix. And
Mhm.
this is something that with my clients that I've had to really lean into, just understanding like, no, this is not going to magically alter your body shape just because you are eliminating all other food groups other than a juice. So,
Yeah. I should say too, bringing a little bit of research into it, there is like a 2017 review that looks a little bit more into kind of juicing, and they generally found that participants did have a little bit of weight loss when they were juicing, but
right.
when they kind of got back more into their diet, typically that weight gain kind of reappeared. So it goes
Mhm.
back on the fact of let's work on more of those lifestyle long-term changes, because I don't think anyone wants to drink juice every day for the rest of their life, nor should they really. So
No, thank you. No, nope, not at all. Well, that is a fabulous answer to question number two. I want to be respectful of your time and just thank you again for
yeah.
doing this. So I'm going to wrap it up with one final question, which
Mm-hmm.
is we are all so busy. We are doing
Yes.
1,000 things. And at the end of a long day, after I have been coaching, writing emails, making content, doing this and doing that, the last thing I want to do, Mackenzie, is come home and try to whip up this nutritious something that's going to
Mhm.
taste good and make it myself. So my question to you is how can we as busy adults, how can we make these meals that are nutritious, delicious, but also fit in with our
Yeah,
schedules?
the ultimate question, and my favorite kind of question because I'm all about it. And okay, so I'm going to break this up into three P's.
Okay.
So we're going to go into planning, prep, and plate, how we can kind of save time, keep the nutrition in mind. So when it comes to planning, I feel like it can be helpful to plan ahead if you can. A lot of people try to plan maybe at weeks at a time. Sometimes that can feel overwhelming, but maybe even just in your calendar, kind of blocking out certain meals that you're envisioning with things that you either have on hand or maybe a recipe that you saved on Instagram that you want to come
Cool.
back to so that you kind of have those at hand. But, sometimes we have a day and we don't have anything planned, right? I have that day a lot. So if you're looking at your plate and you have no idea what the heck to fill it with, come back to the idea of kind of like I've talked about in the live. So carbohydrates, protein, fat, and some veggies if you can.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't always have to look like chicken, broccoli, and rice. That could be a go-to, sure. But it could look something creative too, like a bell pepper, filled with some quinoa and black beans for protein and carbs and topped off with some cheese for some fats. That could be, something quick and easy. There's lots of kind of stir fries. I mean, all kinds of one pot meals. So you can kind of come back to that simple idea too. I know that dinner has been popular in the past or even still so. And, that can be an option too, even if you're just throwing together sort of a little like charcuterie
Yes.
platter with a little bit of meat, some cheese, some veggies, some hummus, whatever. If that works for you, that's a balanced meal.
Love it.
So taking the pressure off yourself a little bit for it to be this luxurious thing, I think can be helpful. And now when it comes to more of the prep, kind of getting in the kitchen, don't be afraid to take shortcuts. So
Okay.
buy those broccoli florets that are already cut up. Buy that rice packet that you can microwave in 90 seconds. If that's going to take, some of that labor out of it, that's great. If your store has a salad bar, you can usually find things that are already pre-chopped for you. So if like a recipe called for some sliced green onions, grab them in the salad bar and then just pay for the ounce of green onions or whatever you need. So taking those shortcuts can be super helpful. Um, and really being able to utilize kitchen tools too that can save you time. So I know a lot of times I'll use an air fryer. Like last night, I'm testing this tortilla pizza recipe, and it comes together in the air fryer in like 5 minutes. Whereas maybe if I made it in the oven, it would take a little bit closer to 20 minutes. So if you can slash that time in half with some kind of kitchen tool, maybe a crock pot, slow cooker, instant pot where you can
Mm-hmm.
set it and forget it, that's also super helpful. And my favorite thing to do is freeze just about everything. I feel like whenever there's leftovers and I'm just sick of them and I don't want to see them for another month, then I'll freeze them. And then, February comes around and I can pull out that soup and I have a dinner in 5 minutes because, all I had to do was throw it in the morning in the fridge and then just microwave it or whatever that looks like. So that's kind of some shortcuts for when it comes to that. Now let's tie in kind of the nutrition piece. We are busy, but when it comes to actually sitting down, you have it on your plate, try to carve out just a few minutes to be mindful. And that might look like limiting distractions a little bit, really like tuning in to the flavor of the meal. I know that sounds silly, but sometimes we get so in our head about all the things that we're doing, the TV that's in front of us, the work meeting coming up, and we aren't thinking about how amazing this miso salmon tastes like, texture wise. That can be helpful because it makes us more mindful of our hunger. We might not eat like to the past the point of fullness where we could feel kind of sick. And it's just overall probably going to make us feel better and be more grateful for our meal. And so that's kind of my tips for the planning prep plate. Of course, I have tons of different recipes that can kind of help save time on my blog at Cheerful Choices. And also, if it feels super overwhelming, like, cooking, I think something that we don't really learn a lot. Maybe we took one home education
Yeah.
class in middle school and they taught us how
Yeah.
to make mac and cheese, and that's great, but I want to learn how to cook healthy and be an adult. So I work with tons of clients on that too in my program, where I'll work with people and their nutrition goals, and then based on those goals we get in the kitchen together. You get in your PJs in your kitchen, I get in mine, and then you get to kind of feel comfortable, have a set time in your schedule to make those recipes and get a little bit more confident in the kitchen. So yeah, I'm happy to share where to, people can feel free to go to my website at cheerfulchoices.com, and I have a coaching plus cooking tab there too. Feel free to book a free discovery call. I'm not about being salesy and whatever. I just love to connect with people. It's my biggest passion.
Well, your passion is one of the main reasons. Well, one, I just think you're fabulous, but your passion and your attention to detail and your just what you put together on a daily basis to help people, just really, I have to give you your flowers
Oh,
because
thanks,
I just think that
Abigail.
it is amazing. And all y'all need to work with this wonderful woman because she is going to get you right. I need to book a call with you.
I got you,
I,
girl.
I am ready. I am ready. And I just want to thank you. Thank you again for carving out some time for this discussion.
Of
I'm going to
course.
go ahead and save it so that people can watch it later. And do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share?
I would just say too, sometimes cooking can feel overwhelming and it feels like we should know how to do this. Like, oh, like I'm 35, I should know how to do this. I've been cooking my whole life. But sometimes it is just kind of that accountability partner and coming back to the basics and finding a plan that works for
Yep.
you. Trying to figure it out on your own can be super overwhelming, and especially with like all the nutrition messaging out there. So being able to work with a dietitian can be super helpful. We're really the experts in nutrition and can help you create realistic, smart mini goals that you can work on this week, not like, this huge, overwhelming kind of thing.
I love it. I think that is wonderful. And can you say those three P's one more time? Your plate, preparation, and
Plan,
plan,
prep, and plate.
plan, plate, prep,
All of them, yes.
so that you don't have any
I
pressure.
love it. Hey, we got the 4 P's now.
I love it. Mackenzie, thank you so much. I hope you have the most fantastic rest of your day, and we will be in touch.
Sounds good. Thanks, Abigail.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.